So CNN recently had a town hall with Bernie Sanders, and one of the questions was really important. Basically, it had to do with how Bernie Sanders would converse with Donald Trump on the debate stage. So I want to show you guys this video, and I want to show you guys Bernie Sanders' response. So let's take a look.
Thank you, Senator. In a political climate where we see the current president and his followers using terms such as fake news or alternative facts, how do you plan to have a productive discussion with somebody who is unwilling to accept facts?
This is what I think we have to, and again, as I mentioned a moment ago, when Trump talks, basically says the Wolf Blitzer and other people in the media produce fake news, they're liars, they are enemies of the people. Understand what that means. This is an attack on the very fundamentals of American democracy. Because Trump does not want to be criticized, what he wants to do is disparage the media so that people do not believe what the media says. Now, my approach, and I should tell you that in the last several years, as I go around the country, and I will do it in this campaign, I go not only into communities which are progressive or democratic, we head out to Trump country. We head out to Trump country. And we are going to talk to those people. And we are going to expose Trump as the liar and fraud that he is. All right? Trump told working people that he was going to be on their side. He is not on their side, and its record proves that quite clearly. He is on the side of the billionaire class. And we're going to make that very clear. And I think by the end of this campaign, I suspect that a number of people who voted for Donald Trump will understand that he is not their friend, and that the agenda that we have, which is prepared to take on the billionaire class, is the agenda that they will support.
If you're the Democratic presidential nominee and you're on the debate stage with President Trump, how will you engage with him?
Well, we'll bring a lie detector along. And every time he lies, it goes beep. That would be the first thing. I mean, it is, look, I have conservative friends. I don't mean to be overly facetious here. I have conservative friends. We all do. And they're honest people. They believe what they believe. I believe what I believe. And that's called democracy, and that's a good thing. But I think the fraud that Trump is, the pathological liar that he is, has to be exposed. So we are going to hold him accountable for what he said and for what he did. He said he was going to provide health care to everybody. And then he proposes to throw 32 million people off the health care that they have. He said, you all remember, he said, I'm a different type of Republican. I'm not going to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And he brings forward a budget that does just that. So I think holding him accountable would be a good start in that debate.
Senator.
So that's I like 90% of that answer. His overall strategy should be something that every Democratic nominee should basically take when they go to the debate stage. Basically, what Bernie Sanders is saying is that I'm going to expose Donald Trump. He's saying that I'm going to go to the Trump country and show them that Trump has made all of these promises, X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to show them that those promises were not kept, which is an antithesis to Donald Trump's slogan for 2020, which is promises made, promises kept, which is hilarious to me. I don't know why he's running off of something like that, especially considering his number one promise was a wall and that Mexico would pay for it, and that never happened. But yeah, so overall, Bernie Sanders is right on the nose when it comes to this response. You should expose Donald Trump for what he said and then what he didn't do. Now, that being said, I'm not a complete fan of the beginning of Bernie Sanders' answer here. So in the very beginning, I don't know if you caught this, but he was talking about the media. And he was talking about how Donald Trump calls the media the enemy of the people, fake news, liars, and everything. And then Bernie Sanders says, basically, I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right to call the media liars or fake news or the enemy of the people. To an extent, I do agree that media should never be portrayed as the enemy of the people, but I don't find anything wrong with calling certain media outlets fake news or liars, right? Because let's be real, like, take a look at the articles that were written about Obama when Obama was in office. There were so many attempts at smearing Obama and lies about Obama. Fox News wrote articles that were terrible about Obama. Like, Alex Jones spewed so many lies, and I can call him essentially a liar in so many with so many of the stories that he's reported on. I can say that InfoWars in general is fake news. Right? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense that we shouldn't call certain media outlets fake news. And to give you a really good example of this, consider the fact that Bernie Sanders is at a CNN town hall, right? CNN has done everything they can to basically be fake news. Like, it's as if they want to be the enemy of the people. And understand why. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they have large corporate advertisers. And so because of that, they have this corporatist bias. And so they want, for example, tax cuts for the rich, right? They'll never talk about how are you going to afford that, because the people who benefit from those are the very CEOs of CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC. So that makes like logical sense, right? That those media outlets would be biased towards corporatism. Now, I'm not going to call them enemy of the people. I think that's a little bit too far, but I will call them fake news and I will call them liars, because they do smear campaigns and they do lie about certain things. And in fact, in some cases, Trump has exploited the lies of CNN, and correctly so, surprisingly. And that says a lot, to be honest. So I'm honestly surprised that Bernie Sanders did not confront the fact that CNN is this corporate media fake news outlet. I think the reason why he did that is because he's on a CNN town hall. And like, I would argue that, yeah, if you are going to attack CNN, then CNN is probably not going to host more town halls for you. So I'm not quite sure what the strategy was there, but to be honest, I don't like the fact that Bernie Sanders strays away from a few things in this town hall, considering the fact that he doesn't talk about corporate media and how they're completely unfair. He mentioned the DNC and how the DNC was unfair to Bernie Sanders last election cycle, but certainly CNN was the reason why Donald Trump was elected. They gave him like 90% of the airtime, had Donald Trump written all over the TV screens, right? Like, to me, that's just free press. And it's it's free advertising, because CNN, the CEO, they make billions of dollars, and Wolf Blitzer is a millionaire paid by billionaires. Tucker Carlson is a millionaire paid by billionaires. If you haven't heard that debate between Tucker Carlson and Rutger, I would definitely look into that. So there's another aspect of CNN though that I want to bring up, and I didn't do this story, but I really wish I did. They hired a new editor, like an editor-in-chief, and she is literally this radical right-winger, and she has no experience in journalism. She was a politician. She has literally no experience in journalism, and the corporate media outlets have been doing this. They think like, oh, if we hire these establishment Democrats and these establishment Republicans, then we're going to look like we're legitimate media outlets, but they're not, because they're not journalists. They don't know how to do their job. They just make commentary that benefits their fundraisers and their for example their talks on Wall Street, right? Like I don't like the fact that Bernie Sanders is missing out on this opportunity to exploit them for who they are, but I can partially understand maybe that it's because the fact that he's at a CNN town hall.